Joining me now is Lauren Homer, an attorney and advocate for religious freedom. Lauren has worked to defend persecuted Christians in the Middle East for decades. Lauren, welcome to the broadcast. The withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria certainly has political implications in this country, but what about the Christians in their country, in Syria? They're already a vulnerable minority.
Absolutely. It's a death sentence for the Christians who live in the part of Syria that U.S. troops have been present in and supporting the Syrian Democratic Forces.
So what do you think will happen now that they're being withdrawn?
Well, last year we stood by while Turkey invaded Afrin, which was a little tiny part of Syria, and the Turkish troops, who are really repurposed jihadis, went in with a decree saying that they should kill all Christians and all Yazidis that they encountered. And they tried very hard to do so. They did house-to-house searches. So that's what's going to happen in this area. And in this area, interestingly, there are a lot of Christian converts from Islam, both Kurdish and Arabs. And so they will be like right in the crosshairs of these jihadis.
Let me follow up with you on that. What are you hearing from your contacts in Syria, and how are they reacting to this news?
Well, they're all horrified, as we are in the international religious freedom community. We fought so hard to get the president to recognize the ISIS genocide of Christians and Kurds in Syria and Iraq, and now the president has made a decision that will allow that to happen again. So people there are in a panic. In Afrin, they cried out to the Christians of the world to save them, and nobody did, and they're doing the same thing now. I just saw one quote yesterday that this is the death knell for Christianity in this region, and not just in Syria, but in the Nineveh Plains. Mm-hmm. Because remember, ISIS is like right there between the Nineveh Plains and this part of Syria. And as of this morning, they're back in business.
Well, I'm hoping you can expand on that a little bit because, President Trump is also considering pulling troops out of Afghanistan. And like I said, there's widespread implications for the whole region. What do you think the U.S. should be doing in the region?
Well, what we have been urging, and what everyone from the Secretary of State on down has said we would do, is that we should keep troops in this part of Syria. We should let the Syrian Democratic Forces, who are doing most of the work, finish the job of crushing ISIS on the ground, and then we should support their experiment in democracy and religious freedom, because this is the only place in the area where Christians have full legal rights. And they can speak the language of Jesus, Aramaic. So it's just so shocking that this would be undone. And in a day, our troops were told to pull out in a day. On Monday, they were leaving their positions defending this area from Turkey. So it's a huge shock, and people don't know what to do because they will have no place to flee if this happens.
And like you say, it's all happening so quickly. So we'll continue to follow this, and obviously the plight of Christians in the Middle East is so important that we shed some light on this. Lauren Homer, attorney and religious freedom advocate, thanks so much for talking with us about it.
Thank you so much for having me.